Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Augustus 3 and 4. Thank you for sticking around this long, or for just waking up, whatever the deal may be. The talk now is about hacking smart TVs. The SIM talk that was originally scheduled at this time has already taken place. It was yesterday. The author, the speaker, was no longer here today, so we couldn't do it at this time slot. So if you're here for that talk, I'm sorry, it's gone, but I'm sure that this talk will be at least as interesting. Questions, please keep those for after the presentation so we know how much time we have left. And then we're ready to get going. It's my pleasure to introduce Beist.
Thank you. Hi. Yeah, as a title, I'm going to talk about the smart TV hacking. Let me introduce myself thoroughly. So my handle is Beist, and I am from Korea University. Yeah, the name is Korea University. And I named to Advisory Council for Cyber Command in Korea. I'm highly interested in offensive security, like finding vulnerabilities and reverse engineering, something like that. So I'm going to talk. So this slide has. We can start with what's the research motivation and what is smart TV and what's the attack point on the smart TV, and then how I made rootkits on the smart TV. Yeah. So actually, you may hear that site called Semigo, which is a community who does the research on some specific brand smart TV, but they are doing mostly firmware hacking stuff. But this talk is not talking about firmware hacking, but it is more like security research on operating system layer or platform layer. So we have some vulnerabilities on smart TV, but I want to emphasize more about a rootkit. Like, for example, I made a rootkit program which I can do surveillance via smart TV camera mic, because that exploitation or vulnerabilities in smart TV, it's almost the same. I mean, it's very traditional. So that's why I'm more focused on how to build rootkit on smart TV. And yeah, actually, I was only doing for one specific smart TV, but I want to say this issue goes to all the smart TV vendors. So this is something like a general issue. So the motivation, yeah, in last year, over 80 million smart TVs sold around the world, and the industry says it's going to be more popular. But we hardly share security research on the smart TV, so that's why we did start on smart TV. Yeah, smart TV is used in everywhere, home, workers, and office. So big companies use smart TV at their work environment. Yeah, so I want to say the smart TV is just like a regular PC, because it is actually using a modern operating system. That one is using Linux inside. So, but yeah, as you see that, there's my one is kind of fancy one. I bought that one for like $300. So it has camera and a mic inside. The back, it has 3 USB ports, so you can connect your USB storage into the smart TV. And there's a LAN cable and X-Link. Inside, there are some hardware modules like Bluetooth and wireless device. And as I said, the operating system is Linux, but the CPU is not Intel, but they are using ARM architecture. And the thing is that the vendors makes a lot of code for the platform. So yeah, as it uses Linux, so it is working like a regular PC. Yeah, why they have camera and mic is that you could control smart TV using your arm or your voice. So, for example, turn it on so that the TV will be turned on. So, and there's the App Store. You can download the games. For example, Angry Bird. So you can play Angry Bird with your arms. So, and you can use Skype as well. So the first, what were the big hurdles when I was doing smart TV security research? The thing is that there are not many documentation about the smart TV security, and the TV is totally the black box, which means you have to do a full reverse engineering to understand how it works. So, and the thing is that I thought the smart TV software was not that big, but I realized it is really big. The platform, I mean, the vendor has made over 300 mega the programs so inside. So which means it's totally black box. So it's really hard to find some interesting spots for attackers. I mean, who want to find some zero days inside. So and one of the most hurdles was that. So when I was doing research on smart TV, I made a TV brick. So I had to send my TV to AS Center to fix it. Yeah, it was a really big hurdle because on software you could do everything. You could use snapshot on VMware or the parallels, but in embedded devices, it's very possible to make the TV brick. So it takes a lot of time to fix it, and yeah. Going to talk about the smart TV attack vectors. I want to say smart TV has almost same attack vectors as smartphone has. So I categorized 4 attack vectors. One is a hacker who knows malicious apps to the app market. So smart TV has an app market, like Android has Google Play and iOS has App Store, things like that. So it has its own market. And the other vector is that, yeah, I will talk about this in more details later. So, yeah, so this talk covers from the start to the end. So, yeah, like how I start research on smart TV. It's like the same when you do stuff on mobile devices. So, for example, when you research on Android or iOS, you gotta get root at first, so that you could understand the internals, so that you could test stuff you want. That's the same. Even though the smart TV uses Linux, but the vendors doesn't give us any shell, so we cannot access to the box. So we gotta find a way to get a shell from smart TV. At the first, I was trying to download the firmwares for my smart TV model, but the problem was that at the time my smart TV was really brand new, so that Semigo site didn't have any information for my TV, so I decided to get another way. As I told you, the smart TV binaries are really huge, so that, which means even though there is an older version firmware, there must be a very same code between the older version and the latest version. So I just downloaded the older firmware and started to analyze the binaries. Yeah, and you have IDA, which supports ARM architecture as well. So which means that you could do static analysis using IDA, but I wanted to get more easier way, so I decided to use UART. So actually, UART or JTAG stuff pretty basic in hardware stuff, but yeah, why I try to use UART is that normally embedded developers make a lot of debug messages in the code. So it usually goes to a UART port because many embedded systems don't have a monitor. So if you put a UART port and if you redirect the messages to your box, you could see all the messages which developers made it. So of course, when you do reverse engineering, if you find some strings, that means it's a lot more easier to reverse engineering because these binaries are very huge, and you see some exception messages when you make some memory corruption style bugs like a buffer overflow, things like that. So by default, the UART mode is disabled, so you gotta make it enabled before using a UART. So there are two ways to get into service mode. I had to take the second one because the first one doesn't have advanced mode, but so only advanced mode has enabling UART. So, but usually normal remote controller doesn't have info or factory key, so that you gotta generate that the key yourself. So you see OX8F and OX1F and OX3V that match the info and factory. So I got this from Semigo, by the way. So you program this and you send it via yeah, I made this one. This is for sending IRDA signals. So I use the Arduino, and you see that advanced mode and UART enable. Yeah. So some configuration. Yeah. So I think we are ready to reverse engineering on a smart TV. So you have binaries and you can do static analysis. And you could get some useful messages from smart TV via the UART port. So that my strategy to find the vulnerabilities in smart TV, I mean to get a shell. The first one, I do a static analysis, I mean reverse engineering. And if I got something interesting, I mean, to try to trigger that vulnerability, I do test. And the third one is that so after test, I read messages from the smart TV so that I could know if my payload was working or not. If it didn't work, I repeat this process until I find 0 days in smart TV. So after this work, I've got like 10 vulnerabilities in smart TV in almost every attack vectors. The first one is that I told you smart TV has its own app store. So, but a little bit a weird thing is that developers only can use HTML, JavaScript, and Flash. You cannot use native languages like C or C++. I think this is because there are two reasons, I think. But the first one is this is because of portability, and second one is because of the security policy. Why I'm mentioning a security policy here? So anyway, the attack scenarios is like that. What is to write in only JavaScript and Flash for security researchers, which means so basically JavaScript and Flash, they are virtual machines. So which means you cannot access, you cannot call system calls directly, and you cannot access files directly. So nothing very much you can do in VM. So that's why I told you this is because security policy. And in App Store, we have two attack points. We have two big attack points. One is the smart TV apps is running on web browser, so that which means the smart TV web browser has web libraries that desktops have, like for example WebKit. So they use Adobe Flash. So the Flash attacking WebKit or Flash are very traditional. So I passed this one, but I was more focusing on the second part. So I was focusing on more second part, which is SDK. So you cannot make much useful program only using JavaScript or Flash, so the vendor gives you SDK to make developers making more application more easier. For example, you could use the file IO API, or you could control network stuff, or you could control the screen. So, but the thing is that, yeah, the JavaScript and then Flash, the virtual machine, but you could use this API in JavaScript, but this API is implemented in a native level. So, which means you could find some vulnerabilities inside. Yeah, you would get access to the box. So first one, oh yeah, basically most of the APIs do sanity checks. You see this function. So when you try to do directory traversal // it checks it. Yeah, that is very simple, by the way. So the problem is that they don't have sandbox. So if there's any vulnerable API, it's all gone, because you see that every application is running as root privilege. So if there's any single API bug, you would get root privilege on the box. So I'm going to show around 3 vulnerabilities in App Store. The first one is, so when your Smart TV installs program from App Store, it first downloads XML file, and the XML file has application name or title, compression type, descriptions, things like that. And download is that the real binary to get download after parsing XML. So this is ARM code. So I have like 100 slides, so I go. So you see that function BL ZN13C Navi app base exe shell. So this is basically refer function for system function. So it does actually free fork with PID exe shell. It's almost the same as a system function. And the problem is that the download URL is a zip file. So after downloading it, they gotta unzip the file, but they use internal binary, the /bin/unzip. They do very basic sanity checks, like if there is a pipe or semicolon in URL. Pipe and semicolon is somewhat special characters in Linux. You could execute multiple commands at the same time. But they didn't check the tilt character, so tilt also you could use multiple executions. So I was bypassing it. The one hurdle was that you cannot use / character directly, but the installer is background process, so which means it has old PWD environment. It basically indicates /. So I could use / character using that environment in Linux. Then after that is a simple stack overflow. Yeah, you see string concate EPC PKC. So there's a field in the XML file, which is widget ID. This is for the app directory. So yeah, strcat is known to vulnerable if they don't check the boundary. So this is from the UART menu, UART port. So you see that the PC register is changed. The PC is the EIP in Intel. So I gave them a really long string. So yeah, it's a very 1999 simple overflow. And there are more. So most of there are like unzip API, move API, copy API, delete API. But they all use system functions, which means you could use a tilt character to multiple executions. So yeah, and again, this is because all application is running as root, so that if you find any vulnerable API, you could get a root. So the other factor, okay, let me skip this one. Yeah, so you can do web surfing on Smart TV, but I told you before, their library, like Flash or JavaScript, they are really old, so you could see their version here, 10 Linux 2.6, which is very old. So all vulnerabilities that could trigger on desktop, it also working on Smart TV as well. We made some exploits for that, and there are like around 10 TCP and UDP daemons on Smart TV. So, for example, yes, you see that this port. Yeah, we take a look at 55,000 port. So it is actually it has many commands. I mean, you could give some commands. You get responses from that. You see that, for example, 100. That is for authentication, providing rich features like that. I mean, you could make application on Smart TV on smartphone, and you could control your Smart TV using your phone. So to provide that features, yeah, these demos are for that. So I take a look at 121 that RSA decryption. So this is a bit weird, but they didn't use OpenSSL or things like that. So they made some code themselves. So I found some memory corruptions while handling that the data. I mean, while decrypting your packet. So you see that exception messages here. Yeah, I have to say this is exploitable, but very, very hard to make it reliable, because the PC always points to unmapped memory address. So yeah, it's really hard to make it reliable. So we failed at 76 to find some vulnerabilities, but it was good to take a look to understand the Smart TV. And the man-in-the-middle issue, there is man-in-the-middle issue in everywhere. So as you have root privilege, you could snip on Smart TV, you could snip all the network traffic on Smart TV, and you see unencrypted, I mean plain text, which is sending to the other site. So you could see ID or password in plain. Yeah, there are also physical artifactors, as it has a USB port inside. And do you remember that in Linux 3.6.35, there was a Linux USB kernel driver simple stack overflow, so it can be triggered as well. Yeah, I'm gonna skip this one because the rootkit part has more slides. So yeah, so from those vulnerabilities, I'm now having a shell on the box. So after that, so I decided to make some rootkits because it has camera and mic inside. So I thought I could make something fun. So basically you can do whatever you want on Smart TV, because it is exactly just a regular PC. So Linux. So you could do hijacking TV programs or keylogging when the users do web surfing. And of course, sniffing network traffic is possible. So we now have a shell, but I want to make it persistent. So I gotta find the ways to make it persistent. I mean my shell. So basically, you have three ideas. First one, rewriting the firmware, but it could make your TV again break, so I don't want to try that one. And second one, remounting partitions to make it writable, and you put your binaries in that writable partition, but it didn't work for some unknown reason. And third one is more reliable and more clean. So let me explain more detail. So to make our shell persistent, persistence means you get a shell even though users reboot your TV, his TV. So we try to find some shared library which are loaded by program. So we found some interesting shared libraries that actually not exist, but there is a web browser launcher which is executed when every booting. So there is no shared library but the web launcher is trying to load it, which means you make your own evil shared library and just put your library into that directory, so that browser launcher will load your library, and you put just a reverse shell in init function, because by default the program will load will execute your init function. So it is very simple. But the problem was that there was some security program on smartphone by the vendor. I call that UEP because the process name is UEP, but it stands for User Executable Preventer. That does that code, that function. I mean, it checks all the files in Smart TV, and they check if this binary is signed or not, signed by the vendor. If it's not, it just deletes the file. And you see a problem from this code, because there's something like a timing issue, because the UEP process has to scan all the binaries in Smart TV. So that means usually you have time before UEP program. So my solution was very simple: just kill UEP process, and it is really simple. Yeah, so I couldn't make many kind of rootkits. So before making a rootkit, I was asking my friend, so which one is worst case for you if your Smart TV got hacked. The result is most of them voted for the watching and listening. I mean surveillance. 85% they voted for this. Yeah. So, So we have 30 minutes, but before we go to how to implement, how I did implement surveillance programs. I want to mention that the surveillance between a smartphone and Smart TV. I did a quick test on smartphone. So I made a simple program on Android which takes a picture every minute, and I went out with the phone and I used it as it's my real phone. And I got two problems from the test. The first one is most of the time your phone is on your desk or in your pocket, so that most of the pictures you take are black or white or very noisy. So on the 1% photos were okay, but the other 99% photos were useless, I mean, for attackers. So, and the second problem is that if you take a lot of photos on a smartphone, if the battery life is really going down so fast. So people would say surveillance on smartphone is really critical and really bad, but I realized these problems. And against smartphones, Smart TV is always connected to the power, and you could record via camera and a mic 24 hours. Of course, TV cannot move, but on the other hand, TV is a really good photographer, so they can watch you very well. And of course, the photos from Smart TV are really nice. So basically, surveillance is not about me or you, but it is about your family. I mean, if you get hacked, if your desktop gets hacked, mostly it's about your problem. But if a smart TV gets hacked, it is about your family or your girlfriend stuff. So do not make TVs your bed. Yeah, also, I know some big companies like Google or Microsoft, they use smart TV at their offices. Yeah, so it is not only about personal stuff or home private stuff, but it's also about the companies, infiltrating some sensitive data. So we go to technical stuff now. So we have a shell, which means you could do dynamic analysis, reverse engineering. But the problem is that most of the code are written in C and C++. So if you do C++ reverse engineering, it's really hard to know which function is calling or which function is called because it's free table stuff. So you gotta do dynamic analysis to figure out how the smart TV is working. So I was going to make my own DBI program, but I found a very nice one. Colin Mulliner made a DBI program for Android. So I slightly modified the code and tried to use it on the smart TV. Yet it works pretty well. So the DBI works like it tracks a target process and changes PC register and put some shellcode and execute it. Yeah, it is pretty much same when you do like hooking stuff. Yeah, pretty easy, but it works really great. So like this, you can put some hooking code, and you can do hooking on runtime. So why I use the DBI program is to know basically LR register and PC register. In ARM, LR register has that return address. So after knowing LR register, we can know that this function is called from this function. So it makes much more easier to understand the whole process. So of course you can know the arguments like R0, R1, R3. They have the arguments, and also you see a free table. And the one tip is that. So in binary, they are checking some global variables. So if it's a debugger version, it prints some useful messages. So if you see them, the reverse engineering job would be more easier. Basically, our binary is a release version, so you cannot see those useful messages, but you could do runtime patching like this way. So using ptrace system call. So after this, you would see all the useful messages from the smart TV box. And I wanted to make my rootkit working 24 hours, which means it would work even though users turn off your smart TV. So, yeah, this should be possible because it's just software. So, yeah, I just skip it. Yeah, after reversing really many code, I figured out the TCTV power function that does actual turning on and turning off. So, before reaching a power function, it does off the screen and sound mute and killing some process. But at that time, the kernel is still working. So, and after that, when they reach to TCTV power function, it actually goes to turn off. So that's very simple. Using hooking program, you just put return at the top of TCTV power, so that the sound is black and the sound is mute and screen is black, but still alive. And so it looks like turn off, except that LED blue one. So to turn off the LED, you gotta call set light effect. Well, I figured out this function does that job, but yeah, it's really a lot of code, so I cannot bring them up on these slides. So if you call this function with argument 0, that blue LED will be turned off. So yeah, so it totally looks turned off, but our rootkit is still working inside. So we gotta set second flag when users turn on the TV. So you gotta just roll back logically. You just roll back all the stuff. So yeah, right now you never notice if there is a rootkit program and if that rootkit program is even working 24 hours. Even though you turn off your TV. But we don't have surveillance program yet, so let's talk about surveillance program. Yeah, we will implement 2 surveillance program. One is taking pictures and it sends the photos to my server automatically. And second one is that video recording and doing some live streaming stuff. So to make that rootkit program, so I had to understand how the camera and mic work on smart TV. I mean, you gotta understand very low level stuff because yeah, of course there are some API. I mean that SDK. There are APIs that you can control camera and mic using those APIs, but it's an application level. So which means it cannot be background. So users may notice there is some malicious program is working. So I had to take that second option. So I went to understand that low level stuff. So I mean, to use the camera and the mic. So I figured out I gotta open the TMP stream socket and I send the camera those commands like camera stop sec cam streaming and set mic volume and things like that. So this is a protocol between the camera device and user level process. So if you send those commands to the socket, so it takes a picture. So it is basically ASN.1, which is really simple. So it's like length command, length command, length values, something like that. So this is done for set cam video display size. So you see that, yeah, there's a length and a value. Very, very easy to recognize. To implement a video taker. So I figured out to take a video recording, you gotta call those functions. So I did reverse engineering almost whole binary. So if you set the resolution, you see that the numbers, and you just doing setup stop, and finally it will start to record using the camera. Yeah, but we want to make a live streaming, so which means you gotta dump that recording file into a file system. Well, actually, you could do that. You could send the dump in memory directly and not making file. Yeah, but we just made this for fun, so just choose the easier way. So to dump that purpose into the file. So when you see CMOIP buffer read function, yeah, you see the bad location and good location. If you can jump to a good location, there is the fopen function. It is actually opening a file and dumping that video buffer into it. I think this is for test code for developers, but in our binary, we actually goes to bad location by default. But you can do binary fetching. So if you can read the ARM code, so to jump to good location, you gotta set the argument plus 1C as not 0. So for example, 1. So that using that code, you could set that value to 1, and after that, it will dump the video buffer into a file in the file system. So okay, it's time to demo for video surveillance. Okay, this is the this shell is from this smart TV. Yeah, as you see that, all the processes are running as root privilege. Yeah, I'm injecting some modules into the main binary, I mean the TV binary. Okay. Yeah, this streaming server is to record using the camera. I'm going to start. Okay, and connect. Yeah, it's downloading that video buffer. So very old media player. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is watching him. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, fuck. 1 second. Yeah, this streaming is not reliable, but okay. So there might be 1 minute delay. Sorry, because I just restarted this program. But for test, so I explained my rootkey is working 24 hours. So I give some signal, okay, and then I'm going to turn off it. And maybe after 1 minute, you will see my arm using the screen. Actually, there is one more demo as well. So after watching my arm there, so can you move your legs so that the people would know? Actually, the camera is really nice, but displays a little bit. Oh yeah, you see my arm, right? Yeah. Thank you. So oh, I'm really no good at PowerPoint. So do you remember that the AP Twitter account got hacked like 2 months ago? No. So I read the newspaper after this accident. So that stock point in USA went down. What percent? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 1%. Yeah, 1% is actually huge. Is not? Isn't it? Okay. So yeah, of course, it's possible to show some text. I mean, to make hogs on smart TV. As you see that there are many API by the vendor, and using those APIs, you could show text and you could show movies, images, music, everything. You could do that, but you cannot use those APIs because it cannot be background, so that the users wouldn't know that there's some malicious program is running. So I had to make it on a low level. So I again did reverse engineering the binary. So I found some interesting functions. CC text is running text, and yeah, there are some alternatives to show some messages on smart TV. So when you click some remote or when you click some menu on remote controller, and if it shows some text messages, so the function flow is like that. At the first, there are some other functions, and then C key help bar, set last index, ordering marker, C text, drawing text, and VTP print. Yeah. So yeah, you see those APIs. You may think that this might be easy to find it, but in Smart TV there are like over like 10,000 functions, and it's around 300 megabytes. So it's really hard to find right functions to do whatever you want. And also to use that API, you gotta make sure. I mean, you see just a simple text box, but actually there are many components inside: label, font, what font, color, size, position. So you have to make sure to show messages to victims. So yeah, I wanted to give you a live demo, but we don't have cable for watching TV programs right now. So I took a video. Okay, one guy is watching news at home, and this is a Korean news program. Yeah, you don't have to hear that. It's going to be showed, I mean, some weird message on smart TV. Can you see? Breaking news, White House is under attack. Gray hash. Thank you. Yeah, so basically everything can be possible on smart TV if you hack smart TV, because it's just like a regular PC. So if you understand how smart TV works, how smart TV processes work, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Fuck, I did. So, time for conclusion. Yeah, I have to say, probably a smart TV hacking doesn't make money as much as smartphone hacks. But, well, I believe that personal privacies are more important. I mean, money is also important as well, but yeah, personal privacy is really important. That's why smart TV industry should make their TV more secure. I mean, they have to think about it very seriously. So the smart TV, if you hack a smart TV, it's really a nice platform, especially for surveillance, because the power is already connected, and they have a camera and a mic inside, and can be located at very privacy. Like you could watch your bed. Yeah, so I'm not pretty sure how deceiving smart TV users. Making hoax, they affect the people. But yeah, this might be a good case. And yeah, of course, we are planning to release all the code after conference, so you can check it out, updated slides or material on greyhatch.com. So thanks to these guys, and so we have some time for Q&A, and rest in peace, Barnaby Zek. Thank you. Any question? Yes? I cannot hear. What?
Did you report this to the vendor?
Well, actually, first of all, I didn't say Samsung. I didn't say this is a Samsung. But I did a report to the vendor, of course. Well, they fixed some vulnerabilities already, and they are trying to make it more secure, more and more. Yeah, they are doing very nice. Other question?
No more questions?
Okay. Sorry, what did you say?
Does it apply to more than one vendor, or is this specific to one manufacturer?
Well, I have to say, all the smart TVs from multiple vendors are vulnerable. Yeah, but not the same attack point, not the same vulnerability, but they are also vulnerable. Very, yeah. So, thank you for attending my talk.